Part
How much
7.
blood could a
Part
tick drink before it
7.
pops? At first, it's tiny, but as it drinks, its body stretches like a balloon, and it can inflate up to 50 times its normal size. But if the tick kept drinking, the pressure would build as it swells up to the size of a grape, and then eventually bursts. Now, leeches can grow up to 11 times bigger, around 17 inches when fully engorged. But if they drink too much, their stretched out bodies split open and they die. Inside buildings, and when their timers went off, they would start massive fires everywhere. But during testing, some bats escaped, and they managed to burn down a US military base. Before they could make it work, a much more effective weapon, crossbows. Once the string snapped back, the arrows were triggered, shooting right at the spot where you stood. Now, you might think this only exists in movies, but according to legend, you might be placed in years ago. This was known as the Brazen Bowl, and you would be slowly roasted alive as the metal was heated into your flesh to escape the heat. And sometimes little screws would be placed on your fingers and toes. Over time, they'd be slowly tightened until they began to crush your fingers. The guns fired, a real bullet struck her in the stomach. Her husband He attacked his mother-in-law with an iron bar and began stabbing her repeatedly. Then he turned on his father-in-law, choking and stabbing him before leaving them both. If a cannonball was shot at you while you were wearing a bulletproof vest, it would tear right through your body instantly. Even with 20 vests stacked together, it would hit you with almost the same impact, plowing right through. At 100 vests, some energy would be absorbed, but the force of impact would still break your bones and crush your organs. Now, if you were to stack 5,000 vests, creating a wall dozens of feet thick, you would finally stop the cannonball. But the force would still travel through the vests, and since they're attached to you, you'd still be thrown to the ground. They struck him with a car and eventually caused her to get Lyme disease, which got worse over time. One day, while outside, a swarm of bees attacked, stinging her dozens of times. At first, she thought the venom would kill her, but through the bars to pet the animal, and instantly, the tiger's powerful teeth sank into his flesh. He struggled to pull away, but the animal refused to let go, shaking its head violently and tearing into his arm. Blood poured onto the ground as onlookers screamed for help. His arm was near. The cannonball hit his leg, tearing apart the skin and bone below his knee. Surgeons had to cut off what remained, and his soldiers carried him